Yo, yo, this is it. I'm Mr. Fate, and you're listening to Attack of the Beats on IllMuzik.com. Here we are once again, another 5 beats, another 5 reviews. And we recently just had the Warzone beat battle. And it's a good thing it's only once a month because, man, that's a lot of work. There's a lot of work involved, trust me. It may not seem like it to you guys, but really there's a lot of stuff I have to do just to get the battle going and all that stuff, especially when the voting's happening, right? You know, each round's about an hour or so, and it's hard to just, gather everything up and, figure out what's what, and then get the beats edited and fixed up and make sure everything's cool. It's a lot of work. That's why it's only once a month. But coming up, we have the Beat This competition this week, the 25th, 26th, and then next month, actually, it's December 7th to 10th. It's the Battle That competition. So make sure you check that out. I just updated the thread about it, and I listed the sponsors in it. So I'm trying to get one more sponsor, but I'm not too sure. But right now, there's some really good sponsors in there and some great prizes. So make sure you check it out and read all the information if you're planning on entering. But for Attack of the Beats, let's get started right away. First up, we've got Odd Bark with Taught by a Bastard. Let's check it out. All right. Okay, so that was Odd Bark, but Taught by a Bastard. The music on this one, it right away reminded me of something from the Wu-Tang. Something from the 90s, Wu-Tang. They had that kind of style where it was just like this evil sounding music or whatever. And it works, but I think it only really works in certain cases. Like in their case, for example, they had Old Dirty Bastard, so like he could rap over pretty much anything and it'll sound dope. And I think that's the type of beat this is. Like, that's the type of music it is that, you can use it as is, but it depends what you're using it for, right? I mean, if it's just an instrumental, I would say no, because, on its own, it's kind of, the music's kind of annoying, actually. But if you had, an MC on top of this, it would definitely work. What I didn't like was the fact that when you brought it down a note, you pitched it down, you had the low end part of that sample, that music, whatever, and I just didn't think it was good. It just sounded kind of out of tune and very, very dull. But the main, sample, the main music you had at the beginning, that sounded a lot better. What I would do though is I would just make the music overall. I'd make it a little quieter and bring the drums up. Focus more on the drums and bass, because that's what you didn't have either, was the bass. So add some bass to that. Bring the drums up more than the music. Lower the music down. And because, you don't want that music to be just, so overpowering that it's going to be kind of annoying after a while, after a few bars or whatever. So, but also with the drums are okay, but they're kind of just dull. So plus I couldn't really hear them. That's why I bring them up. But what a lot of people do is they'll use compression, let's say, to try to spice up their drums or whatever. And you could do that or whatever, but I think you should try to get a saturator over that. Add some saturation on top of it. That makes a big difference. It doesn't always work as intended, but it definitely spices things up and stuff. And another cool trick you could do with the drums is to add some kind of delay to like, let's say your kick, snare, and hat. Add delay to all of them, because like to the whole drum group or whatever, because that gives you like a nice little effect there, because it really spices up the drums at that point. Because what you have is just a regular drum track, it's very chill in the background with this music just blasting on top of it. So I would do that with the drums though. Beef that shit up and don't worry too much about the music, and don't pitch it down, because I just found it was just kind of out of tune. So, but yeah, it reminded me of Wu-Tang right away. But yeah. But anyway, focus on the drums first. I think that's what you should do. All right, so next up we have Onin Calf with Sakura. Let's check it out. All right. Okay, so that was Onin Calf with Sakura. All right, so right away, I like the piano. I like the delay in the piano. It's nice. Then you just bring in the piano, with the drums, the bass, some really dope shit. The piano is very smooth. I like that. And what I really liked about the piano was that it's just a nice sound to it, just a nice vibe to it. It just goes well with the whole track. The drums, they're great. Bass is subtle. That's good. And I just think that when you brought in the other music later on, it just kind of took away from the piano. Like, it was just too loud. So I think, the music was fine. It's just that I just think that it shouldn't be over the piano. I think the piano should be your main focus here. And then that other music, just have it chill in the background when you bring it in. Because, it's also because since it's so loud, when you transition to it, like when you take it out and go back to just the piano, it's kind of like, it's just so abrupt. You know what I mean? It's just, it's like you just kind of threw it in there. That's the impression I got right away and stuff. Even though it matches together, I just think it just needs to transition better from, when you take it out to when you put it in or whatever. And the shaker was pretty loud, so I would just bring that down and stuff. But I like the piano. Piano is dope. Like I said, I think that should be your main focus. And drums and bass were fine. But yeah, it's just that other sound when you brought it in. Just have a better transition. Make sure it's not too loud, because I just think it was just overpowering the piano. So that was the main thing. But yeah, I like the piano. Definitely. Some dope shit. All right, so next up we got Steven Diaz with Amber Alert. Let's check it out. All right. Okay, so that was Steven Diaz with Amber Alert. All right, so first of all, in the background, you have the music, which is it kind of sounds like I think it's a vocal track, right? It's like a very low vocal track, like some humming or something. And that's dope. I like it. It really, really works. And the thing is with that, what's good about it is that you can go anywhere with that. Because you could leave it as is, but honestly, I think you should put something on top of it. I mean, it could be piano, it could be keys, or some kind of synth or something, because that's just like a foundation right there. That stuff. So with the vocals, so you can just add whatever on top of it, and it's definitely going to work. That's if you want to, but yeah. But that's what's really good about it. Now for the drums, though, I think you really need to focus on the drums because the snare had kind of like a metallic sound, somewhat. I guess it was kind of like a reverb, I guess maybe. And the kick was distorted when you brought in the. I think it's every 4 bars you bring in this bass note, which is great, but it's just that it makes it so distorted. It's too heavy. So I think just the drums, you got to fix that. Just make sure you fix the levels. And the drum track is great. It's just that you just need to just fix the levels. That's all. Fix the levels, and especially when the bass note comes in, because at first I was like, "Where's the bass line?" But then I was like, "Oh, okay. There's a note on the kick. That's fine, but it's just very, very distorted. So you got to fix that mix. Fix that in the mix." And like I said, though, the main thing is the that vocal track humming stuff. That's really good because really that's the first thing I thought is, yeah, you could definitely add stuff on top of it. Me, I'd probably add some kind of smooth keys on top, but that's just me. That's my style. But definitely something like that, or even strings or something like that, whatever. But yeah, it's dope. But like I said, just work on the drums because it's very, very loud, and especially on the first bar with the kick. All right, so next up we got Twin Nemesis with the Mantra. Let's check it out. All right. Okay, so that was Twin Nemesis with the Mantra. So this beat, what's good about this is that it starts off really good. I like that because you have a nice sample that you're looping, and the drums are nice and tight. I like that. Very good drums and all that stuff. The bass line, it came in really nice. What threw me off is when you tried to change it up, because as I'm listening to it, I'm like, okay, where's the change up, And when you finally brought it in, I don't know, it just felt like it was just everywhere, because you had the vocal sample, and then you just changed up the sample and the notes and all that stuff, and it just, I don't know, it just sounded kind of like all over the place. Yeah, it just sounded kind of messy or whatever. Because then at the end, you brought back, the original part, the first part, and that's good. I think honestly, you should get rid of that middle stuff where you did the change up. Just keep the, what you did at the beginning. Just keep that. I mean, that's a dope loop you have there. And then to make some kind of change up, yeah, you could put that vocal snippet on top of that, but the main sample, not where you do the change up, because that's what's really good about the beat is that beginning part, So I would focus more on that because the drums are great and all that stuff. And although with the drums, as I'm listening to the beat, even though the drums sound really nice, I think because of the drum pattern and because of the fast hats and everything, and the snares too, you do some snare change ups and all that. I just think that it's it just kind of too much, like sometimes, I just felt like after a while the drums were like, okay, it's too much. It's like you want to just dial it down a bit, like I just need the drums to be, scaled back a bit, you know what I mean? So, not that you should have a simple drum track, but it's just that, the pattern you have, it's just that sometimes it's a little too annoying, like a little too fast, all the time, just fast. But I understand that's the pattern. But for me, if you're going to do some kind of switch up, some kind of little change up with the drums, then just kind of ease up on it or something, or just have like some breakdowns where you take out the hat or something like that, just to give it some kind of, like give the listener some kind of break, from hearing all this fast stuff. But no, it's good. I like the sample. I like the drums. Like I said, just the change up. I think you should ace that. 86 that, and just keep the main part. Add the vocal snippets on top, and I think then you'd have a dope track. Very, very dope track. All right, so next up we've got Vase with Push. Let's check it out. All right. Okay, so that was Vase with Push. Now this one's interesting because these are clearly sounds that are meant for EDM or something like that, and there's nothing wrong with using that stuff, but of course it's how you use it, and sometimes, it's just some sounds like that, like in the case, in your case, the sounds you're using, sometimes you just can't really use them for hip hop, you know what I mean? So what you have is nice. I like the synths and everything like that, and you have some great drum work. You have the fast hat and percussion, whatever, and it does sound nice and all that. I just don't think it's going to fit for a hip-hop track or whatever, but it is a nice beat. And, there are times there were times when I used that type of sound, but very, very minimal inside my beat. Like, I didn't make it the main thing in my beat or whatever, because, like I said, that's not something you're going to use for hip-hop, you know what I mean? So, I just think that as I'm listening to it, like, okay, it's nice, but it's just a little too much. Right off the bat, I thought maybe this is going to be some dance track or something to me or whatever. So I do like the pattern used for the drums. That was nice snare, smacking and all that stuff. But I just think that, you could keep everything you have, just change the synth sounds. Honestly, just change the synth sounds. I mean, like for example, with the synth you have, the main boops and beeps, change that to something else, like guitar or something like that, or a piano, I don't know, something like that. But just change, if you just swap out the synth, keep that same MIDI pattern, whatever, then obviously you'll have more of a hip-hop track, right? Then you could go somewhere from that and pitch it up and down or whatever. But for what you have, it definitely sounds like an EDM track, just with kind of like a hip-hop track, hip-hop drum track on top of it, you know what I mean? It's kind of weird, but I mean, it's good that you're experimenting with stuff like that, I mean, it's good to try to mash up different styles or whatever, but sometimes it's not going to really work, so in your case, like I said, it sounds nice. I just honestly wouldn't have picked those sounds, and if I would make it very, very minimal, just use it very sparingly in the background and stuff. But definitely just try to change up the sounds, maybe, or just turn this into a full-fledged EDM track, really, because it is nice. It does sound nice, but for hip-hop, no, I wouldn't go with that, because if you listen to it, really, can you picture a rapper on top of this, let's say, or a DJ scratching on top of this? I don't know. It's not going to really sound good together. You know what I mean? So, but yeah. All right. And that's it. Yeah, that's it. Wow. All right. So that's it for me. I'm Mr. Fade. This is Attack of the Beats. Keep sending your beats in. I'll keep reviewing them. And my favorite beat this week, the winner is, drum roll please, Own and Calf with Sakura. Let's check it out.